बड़ी नहीं लिखी आपने? काम कर दूं? एसी नहीं चल रहा है, ये चला दें जरा। चल Assalamu alaikum, students. We are going to start with genetics, and my name is Professor Dr. Naveed Qureshi. I have taken your neoplasia lectures. I hope you remember that. Okay, so genetic disorders, we are going to start with mutations. Okay, terminology which I'm going to use in this lecture is gene, alleles, dominant alleles or recessive, nucleotides, codon, genetic codon. Okay, so I'm going to explain one by one. Gene is a biological unit of heredity. Gene holds the information to build and maintain the cells and pass genetic traits to the offspring. In cells, a gene is a portion of a DNA. So what is a gene? It is a biological unit of heredity from which information is passed from one generation to another. And gene holds the information to build and maintain the cells and pass genetic traits to offspring. In cells, a gene is the portion of the DNA. Okay, I hope this is clear. So gene is the portion of DNA which leads to formation of RNA. RNA leads to formation of protein. Protein builds the cell structure, cell enzymes, and cell function is dependent upon both the cell structure and cell enzyme, the normal cell structure and the cell enzyme which are taking part in that. Okay. Alleles. What are alleles? There is a one member of a pair or series of different forms, homozygous alleles and heterozygous alleles. Allele is a one member of a pair or series of different forms of, and there are homozygous alleles and there are heterozygous alleles. Okay. Allele is a one member of a pair or series of different forms of a gene. Homozygous, in which two copies of genes are identical, they have same alleles, and heterozygous, which have different alleles of the genes. Okay, so I hope it is clear. First, I've told you what is a gene, then I've told you what is an allele. And chromosomes. You know there are 22 pairs of chromosomes. A total are 23 pair and one is 6 chromosomes. 22 plus 1. Okay, so there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. Chromatin, DNA and RNA and proteins that make up the chromosomes. Chromatids are one of the two identical parts of the chromosomes are called chromatids. This is one chromatid and this is the other chromatid. Centromere. Centromere is this part which joins the two chromatids together. The point where two chromatids attach is known as centromere. So as you know that in human genome there are 23 pairs of chromosomes or total 46 chromosomes. 22 pairs are of autosomes and one pair is of 6 chromosomes. These are all the chromosomes which are present, autosomes, and this is the 6th chromosome. XX or XY, okay, depending upon whether person is a male or a female. So chromosomes are composed of DNA, RNA, and protein that they make up the chromosome. The chromosome have two chromatids. One is this one, and the other one is this one, and they are joined together by the centromere. Centromere is the point where the two chromatids are joined. In the human beings, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. 22 are known as autosomes, and one is the 6th chromosome, depending whether the person is a male or female. In female, there are XX, and in the male, there are X and Y chromosomes. Nucleotide. What are nucleotides? They are a group of molecules that, when linked together, they form the building blocks of DNA and RNA. They are composed of phosphate group. The bases are adenosine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, and a pentose sugar. In case of RNA, thymine is going to be replaced by uracil. So nucleotides are a group of molecules that, when they are linked together, they form the building blocks of DNA and RNA. So we have got 4 base pairs in DNA and 4 base pairs in RNA. 4 base pairs in DNA are adenosine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, and they are bounded together by a pentose sugar. In the case of RNA, the rest of the bases are same. Adenosine, cytosine, guanine are same, and thymine is replaced by uracil. I hope this is what you have done in your biology as well when you were doing your schooling. Okay, so these are the 4 base pairs of nucleotides. Codon. Codon is a series of 3 adjacent bases in one polynucleotide chain of DNA or RNA molecule which codes for a specific amino acid. So codons is the series of 3 adjacent bases in one polynucleotide chain of DNA or RNA molecule which codes for the specific amino acid. Genetic code. The sequence of nucleotide arranged in a DNA or RNA molecule determines the genetic code amino acid sequence in the synthesis of proteins. So the sequence of nucleotide like guanine, cytosine, guanine, this sequence is going to determine the amino acid sequence in the synthesis of protein. So the terminology which we are going to use in genetics is gene, allele, nucleotide, codon, or genetic code. I have told you gene is the biological unit of heredity. The information is passed from parents to offsprings by these genes. In cells, a gene is a portion of the DNA. So DNA leads to formation of RNA, RNA leads to formation of protein, proteins build up the cell structure and cell enzyme, which leads to cell function. Alleles are one member of a pair or series of different forms of genes. Homozygous alleles, which have the similar, identical, they have the same alleles, 2 copies, and heterozygous are those alleles in which one allele is different from the other allele, other gene. Next is the chromosome. Chromosome is composed of DNA, RNA, and proteins that make up the chromosome. So we have 23 pairs of chromosome. They are known as, these two are known as chromatids. They are joined by a centromere. And after 23 pairs, 22 pairs are called autosomes, and one is the 6th chromosome. Nucleotide. Nucleotide, as I've told you, you have done in your schooling as well. There are base pairs, adenosine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine in DNA, and which is replaced by, thymine is replaced by uracil in case of RNA. And codon is a series of 3 adjacent bases in one polynucleotide. And genetic code is the sequence of nucleotide by which the synthesis of protein is going to be determined. Okay. So now we are going to see what diseases we are going to cover in genetic disorders. So the diseases which we can see are genetics, environmental, or both. Okay. So first we are going to see what are genetic disorders. Genetic disorders are far more common, as we think they are more commoner than what we think about them. The lifetime frequency of genetic disorder is estimated to be 670 per 1,000 cases. 50% of spontaneous abortions which occur during the early months of gestation are because of the chromosomal abnormality, and these chromosomal abnormalities are demonstrable. Okay, many small genetic errors are now becoming detectable due to DNA sequencing. About 1% of all newborns have some chromosomal abnormality, and serious disease develops in 5% of these people when they are younger than 25 years of age. So genetic disorders are quite common. They are estimated to be 670 per 1,000. So you can see that if 670 people are going to be affected out of 1,000, it's quite common. And 50% of spontaneous abortion which occur during the early months of pregnancy are because of the genetic disorder. Many genetic errors are now becoming detectable due to DNA sequencing. About 1% of all newborns have some chromosomal abnormality, and 5% of these develop diseases when they are still younger than 25 years of age. I hope this is clear. Genetic disorders can be broadly classified into 3 categories. Number 1 are disorders related to mutations in single gene with larger effects. It means that disorders are related to mutation. There is only mutation in one gene, but this mutation is going to produce larger effects. These mutations cause the diseases or predispose to the disease, and with some expectation, like hemoglobinopathies, they are not present in the normal population. These diseases are caused by single gene mutation that follow the classical Mendelian patterns of inheritance, and they are referred to as Mendelian disorders. So first disorder, genetic disorder, I told you about that. There are mutations in the single gene, but this single gene disorder is going to produce a very large effect. So that's why we call disorder related to mutation in single gene with a larger effect. And this type of disorders are also called as Mendelian disorder because they have Mendelian pattern of inheritance. Other disorders are chromosomal disorders. These arise from the structural or numerical alterations in the autosomes and sex chromosomes. It means either the structure of these autosome or sex chromosome is going to be defective, or the number may be less or more than 23. That's why chromosomal disorders can arise from structural or numerical alterations in the autosomes and sex chromosomes. Number 3 are complex mutagenic disorder. The complex mutagenic disorder are far commoner than the previous two disorders because they are caused by interactions between multiple variants from forms of genes and environmental factors. Such variation in genes are common in the population and they are called polymorphism. So complex multigenic disorders are more common than the first two types. First two types were single gene disorder with larger effect, and number 2 were chromosomal disorders, and number 3 are complex multigenic disorders. They are far more common than the previous two disorders. They are caused by interactions between the multiple variant forms of genes and environmental factors. So environmental factors are also playing a role with the genetic variation, okay? So that's why they are called complex multigenic disorders. Such variation in genes are commoner in the population and they are called polymorphism. So, since environmental factors are important in the pathogenesis of these disorders, they are called multifactorial disorders. Some of these disorders are like atherosclerosis, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and autoimmune disorders. So there are some genetic bases superadded with environmental factors which can lead to multifactorial disorders or complex mutagenic disorders, and examples I've given are atherosclerosis, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and autoimmune disorder. Autoimmune disorders you have done in your third year. Rest of the disorders you are going to do in your fourth year. Okay. So these are complex mutagenic disorders. So genetic disorders are disorders related to mutations in single gene with larger effects, which are called as Mendelian disorders, chromosomal disorders, and complex multigenic disorders in which genetics are playing a part with environmental factors. Okay. Mutations. What is a mutation? Mutation is defined as a permanent change in the DNA. So whenever there is a mutation, the DNA is going to be permanently changed. Mutations that affect the germ cells are transmitted to the progeny and can give rise to inherited disorder. If the mutation is present in the germ cell, in the X or Y cell, then it's going to be transmitted to the other generation. These are called inherited disorders. But mutations that arise in the somatic cell do not cause inherited disorders, but they are genesis of cancer and congenital malformation. So after the development of the child or after development of individual, if there are mutations occurring in somatic cells, which they do not have when they were born, they are going to lead to formation of genesis of cancer, or if the fetus is still not born, congenital malformation occur because of the changes in the mutations in the somatic cells. Okay. So a mutation which is present in the germ cell is going to lead to inherited disorder, and mutations which are seen in somatic cell can give rise to congenital malformations or genesis of tumors or carcinomas. Mutations. Permanent change in the DNA is a mutation. So genomic mutation will lead to whole chromosomal effect. Chromosomal mutation, visible chromosomal change can be seen, and gene mutation may and often result in a single base error. So mutations are present in the change in the DNA, which is a permanent change in the DNA. General principles of gene mutation. So today we are going to mostly discuss the general principles of gene mutation, how the genes are going to be mutated. There are point mutations with coding sequence. Coding sequence is a sequence which is a normal sequence present in the DNA. If there is a mutation and the coding sequence is going to be changed, the DNA is going to be permanently changed. So point mutation with coding sequence, a point mutation is a change with single base is substituted with a different base. In a point mutation, like normally DNA has TTC, silent mutation like this C is going to be changed with T. So one base is going to be changed with the other. A point mutation is a chain in which a single base is substituted with a different base. As I've shown you right now, I will tell you again, explain the diagrams again. It alters the code in triplet of bases and leads to replacement of one amino acid by another in the genetic product. So point mutation is a change in which single base is substituted with a different base. It alters the code in the triplet of bases and leads to replacement of one amino acid by another in the gene code. These mutations alter the meaning of the sequence of the encoded protein. They are often termed as missense mutations. So the mutation which is going to change one base pair into the other, they are going to change the sequence of encoded protein, and they are termed as missense mutations. Okay, missense mutations are again divided into conservative and non-conservative. The conservative mutations are those if an original amino acid is substituted by a biochemically similar amino acid, it causes little change in the function of that protein, and this mutation is called a conservative missense mutation. Okay, so I'll explain again. Uh, Point mutation with coding sequence in a non-conservative missense mutation. I've told you missense mutation is that mutation in which one amino acid is changed with the other amino acid, but the function remains the same. So it is known as conservative missense mutation. And then non-conservative missense mutation. What is non-conservative? Before going to non-conservative, I have explained this again. In the DNA, if the normal sequence is TTC, if it is going to be replaced by T, it's going to be silent because no change will occur. In the point mutation, there are missense mutation, conservative and non-conservative, and another type of mutations are known as nonsense mutation. Nonsense mutation needs to stop codon. I'm going to explain it later. In the conservative mutation, instead of TTC, we have got TCC, but the amino acid function is same, so there is not going to be change in the function of that protein. Okay, so this is a conservative mutation, missense mutation. In a non-conservative missense mutation replaces the normal amino acids with a biochemically different one, leading to alteration in the function. So in the conservative missense mutation, the amino acid with change with the other amino acid has the similar function. So now the function of the protein is not going to be affected. So this is known as conservative missense mutation. But in non-conservative missense mutation, what is going to happen? The amino acid which is going to be replaced is going to be biochemically different and leads to change in the function of the cell. So this is called non-conservative missense mutation. In non-conservative missense mutation, example is sickle cell mutation. Sickle cell anemia you are going to study in your fourth year. In the sickle cell mutation, it affects the beta globin chain of the hemoglobin. Here the nucleotide triplet CTC or guanine, adenosine, cytosine and messenger RNA which encodes glutamic acid is changed to CAC. CTC in the DNA is going to be changed to CAC which encodes valine, or GAC in RNA is going to be changed to GUC. So this change which is brought in the beta globin chain because of the non-conservative missense mutation is going to lead to sickling of the red blood cells which are normally dumbbell shaped. Okay, so this change is going to be produced because one type of amino acid is going to be replaced by other type of amino acid whose function is different, and in the beta globin chain with the trinucleotide triplet repeat, CTC is going to be changed to CAC, or in the case of RNA, GAC is going to be changed into GUC, leading to sickling of the red blood cells. This single amino acid substitution alters the physicochemical properties of hemoglobin, giving rise to sickle cell anemia. In the sickle cell anemia, the normal dumbbell shape is going to be changed into a sickle cell, which is like a crescent. Okay. I should have put a picture on that. I'm going to add it and then I'm going to upload this lecture in your LMS. Okay. So in the case of adult hemoglobin, both parents, one has A and one has S. This is the sickle cell trait. One is the adult hemoglobin, other is the S hemoglobin, A and S in both. So they are only going to have traits. The four offsprings they are going to produce, one AA is normal because both are adult hemoglobin. The other AS is sickle cell trait. This two people will get, two of the offspring will get sickle cell trait, but one person, one child is going to have both S's from both the parents, and this person is going to suffer from sickle cell anemia. So this is the inheritance of sickle cell anemia if the both parents are carrier of the sickle cell trait. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So normally, as I've told you, normal DNA has GAG, which is changed to GTG, or CTC, which is changed to CAC. In RNA, GAG is changed to GUG, guanine, uracil, and guanine, and mutant protein is valine is produced, while glutamine is the normal protein which is produced. So the mutations in beta globin chain is because of the amino acid which is substituted in the sequence, leading to, this is the point mutation, but this kind of point mutation is known as missense, non-conservative missense mutation. Okay, I hope this is clear. So I'm going to explain these two diagrams again. So in point mutation, I've told you the normal sequence in the DNA level is DNA is going to be changed by one of the amino acid. If the one of the amino acid has the similar function as of the normal, then it is known as conservative missense mutation. If the amino acid is a different function, then it is known as non-conservative missense mutation. And the example I have given you, sickle cell anemia. And other is nonsense mutation. The nonsense mutation, the amino acid which is changed is not going to going to lead to production of this beta globin chain, and they will, or any other disease, they will lead to stop codon. So no DNA is going to be produced, and this is known as nonsense mutation or stop codon. Okay. So in this case, silent mutation, a mutation in which the amino acid is changed, but there is no effect on the, no observable effect. Missense mutation, a mutation that changes the codon for one amino acid to that for another. But in this case, there are two missense, conservative and non-conservative. Conservative means the function is not going to be changed, but in non-conservative, the function is going to be changed. Nonsense mutation, a mutation that changes the codon for an amino acid to stop codon. This is the nonsense mutation, which lead to stop codon. So again, what are point mutations? Point mutations are of three types. Okay. In one, there is going to be no change, silent mutation. In one, there is going to be missense mutation of conservative type and missense mutation of non-conservative type. And then there is nonsense mutation, and there is going to be stop codon. Okay? I hope this is clear. So original DNA has UUA, which is in the silent mutation changes to CUA, cytosine, and then it is going to be missense mutation and nonsense mutation, in which there is going to be stop codon. And missense mutation are again of two types, conservative and non-conservative. In conservative, the function is not going to be changed for that amino acid which is replaced. So the overall effect is not going to occur, but in non-conservative mutation, there is going to be overall change in the effect. So I hope it is clear. Again, I'm going to repeat it. General principle of gene mutations is point mutation with coding sequence. As I've told you, it alters the code in the triplet of bases. And these mutations alter the meaning of sequence of the encoding protein. They are called missense mutation. In the missense mutation, again, we have conservative missense mutation and non-conservative missense mutation. In the conservative missense mutation, the function of the gene is not going to be the chain. And in the non-conservative, the function is going to be changed, as I've given you the example of sickle cell anemia. And the other is nonsense mutation, in which overall production of this is going to stop because of the stop codon. So I hope this is clear. Point mutation, conservative, non-conservative, missense mutation. Okay, then point mutation within coding sequence, nonsense mutations or stop codon. What are these? A point mutations may change an amino acid codon to a chain terminator or stop codon, nonsense mutation. Okay, so a point mutation occurs at a point where there is not going to be formation of further codons. So this is known as stop codon or nonsense mutation. Example of beta globin, a point mutation affecting the codon of glutamine creates a stop codon if U is substituted for C. Okay. So if we are going to replace by cytosine adenosine guanine by uracil adenosine guanine, U is substituted for C. This is going to be a stop codon. Further production of beta globin chain is not going to be there. So this is known as nonsense mutation or stop codon mutation, in which further formation of beta globin chain is not going to occur. This chain leads to premature termination of beta globin gene translation, and short peptide which is produced is rapidly degraded. This results in the deficiency of beta globin chains and it can give rise to severe forms of anemia, which is beta thalassemia. Beta thalassemia, you are going to do in your fourth year. In the fourth, we are going to tell you that beta globin chain cannot be produced. So these people suffer from a anemia, sort of anemia, which is called beta thalassemia. It is, in this case, the beta globin chain is not going to be produced because of the replacement of cytosine with uracil. Okay, so this is known as stop codon or nonsense mutation. So this here the stop codon nonsense mutation. Mutation within non-coding sequence. Transcription of DNA is initiated and regulated by promoter and enhancer sequence. Point mutation and deletions involved these regulatory sequences may interfere with the binding of transcriptional factors and thus leads to marked reduction in or total lack of transcription. This is seen in hereditary anemias called thalassemia. So what is going to happen in mutations with the non-coding sequence? Those were the mutations with coding sequence, in which I have told you three types of mutation in point mutation. Non-conservative missense mutations. No, sorry, first is the conservative missense mutation, the other is non-conservative missense mutation, and number three is the stop codon mutation. This occurs in the coding sequence. In the non-coding sequence, what can happen is the transcription of DNA is initiated and regulated by promoter and enhancer sequence. Point mutation or deletions involving these regulatory sequence may interfere with the binding of transcriptional factor and thus leads to marked reduction in or total lack of transcription. So this kind of mutation is seen as hereditary anemias, which are called thalassemias. Thalassemias you are going to study in detail in your fourth year. Okay. So now we are going to see deletions and insertions. What are deletions and insertions? Small deletions and insertions involving the coding sequence can have two possible effects on the encoded protein. Deletions means the codes are going to be deleted permanently, or insertions means that new codes are going to be inserted in the already existing code. So deletions and insertions are either you are going to have more additions that are known as insertions, or you are going to have permanently deleted some codes which are known as deletions. If the number of base pair involved is 3 or multiple of 3, the reading framework will remain intact and an abnormal protein lacking or gaining one or more amino acids will be synthesized. Okay. If the number of effective coding base is not a multiple of 3, this will result in alteration of reading framework of DNA strand producing frame shift mutation. So in the case of deletion and insertion, if the some part of the code is going to be deleted, or you are going to have inserted some part that is going to add into that, but if the base pair is multiple of 3, then the effect is not going to be that much. Okay. An abnormal protein lacking or gaining one or more amino acid will be synthesized. But if the number of effective coding bases is not a multiple of 3, this will result in alteration of reading framework of DNA. This chain leads to production of frame shift mutations. Typically, the result is the incorporation of a variable number of amino acids followed by truncation resulting from a premature stop codon. So what is happening? Before this is an example. You only have ABD, or you have, in all these examples, you have ABD. Okay. So in insertion, there is C is going to be introduced, and afterwards the sequence is going to be ABCD. So this is going to produce a larger effect because the sequence is not the same. No, not the 3 base pair are left. There are becoming 4 base pairs. But if D is substituted by C, ABC remains the same, only there are going to be 3 base pairs, so the effect is going to be less. Okay. And this is substitution. This is insertion, in which you add one base. Substitution is when you replace one base with the other. And deletion is that one base is going to be deleted permanently and only 2 will be left. This is also going to be producing a larger effect. So if you are going to gain some base or you are going to delete some base, larger effects will be produced. If one base is replaced by the other base, then the effects are not going to be that much. So this I have explained you here as well. Small deletion and insertion involving the coding sequence can have 2 possible effects on the encoded protein. If the number of base pairs involved is 3 or multiple of 3, the reading framework will remain intact and an abnormal protein lacking or gaining one or more amino acid will be synthesized. If the number of effective coding bases is not a multiple of 3, this will result in the alteration of reading framework of DNA strand, producing frame shift mutation. Okay? So if the number of effective coding base is not the multiple of 3, this will result in alteration of reading framework of DNA strand, producing frame shift mutation. So these are going to be frame shift mutation in which you have an added base, and here you also have one less base, which is because of the deletion. So in substitution, their number remains the same. In addition or insertion, there will be increased number. In deletion, there will be decrease in the number of base pairs. Okay, I hope this is clear. Typically, the result is the incorporation of a variable number of amino acids followed by truncation resulting from premature stop codon. So these are the deletions and insertions. Trinucleotide repeat mutations. What are trinucleotide repeat mutations? Trinucleotide repeat mutations belong to a special type of genetic anomaly. So in each gene, we have trinucleotide repeat mutations, but these are not that in number. Like I'm going to give you the example of FMR1 gene, in which their trinucleotide repetitions are only 29. But if they become more than that, they can become a genetic disorder. So Fragile X syndrome occurs because of that disorder. So in trinucleotide repeat mutation belong to a special type of genetic anomaly. Amplification of 3 nucleotides are seen. Nucleotide sequence that undergoes amplification differs in different disorders. All the affected sequences share the nucleotide guanine and cytosine. So there are, in Fragile X syndrome, there are 250 to 4,000 tandem repeats of sequence of cytosine guanine within a gene called familial mental retardation 1 gene. So CGC is normally only there are 29 repeats. In a normal individual, there are only 29 repeats in the FMR1 gene. But if this is going to lead to a syndrome, which is known as Fragile X syndrome, the tandem repeats are so many that they become from 250 to 4,000, leading to severe mental retardation. Such expansion of trinucleotide sequence prevent normal expression of FMR1 gene, thus giving rise to mental retardation. I hope this is clear. So I'm going to explain in this diagram as well. We have this FMR1 gene, familial mental retardation 1 gene. Okay. In this normal person, which are not mentally retarded, which are normal, there are only 5 to 44 tandem repeats or 29 repeats. Okay. But when the tandem repeats become increased, they become 45 to 54. They are known as intermediate type. Permutations are those individuals in which you do not see the symptoms that much, but the repeats become increased. They become 55 to 200 repeats. But pathological condition occurs when the repeats are more than 200, leading to Fragile X syndrome. I hope this is clear. What is trinucleotide repeat mutation? Normally in one gene, which I have given the example of FMR1 gene, there are only 29 tandem repeats of guanine, cytosine guanine and guanine. But when they become more than that, more than 250, then a person is going to suffer from Fragile X syndrome, which is a genetic disorder in which severe mental retardation is seen. Again, I have shown you this chart. In this case, normal has 5 to 29 or 5 to 44. Intermediate person will have 45 to 55. Permutation means the person is going to suffer from mental retardation, but is not mentally retarded. Their tandem repeats are 55 to 200. Pathologically, they are more than 200. Okay. So this is mostly present. FMR1 gene is present in X chromosome, so they are inherited from the mothers. Normal is 5 to 50 tandem repeats of CGG. Permutation is 50 to 200. Full mutation is more than 200, 200 plus. Okay. So here you can see red is the full mutation, and this gray is the permutation, and normal allele is the green one. Okay. So in Fragile X syndrome, CGG is going to be repeated so many times. Instead of normal being 29 to 55, they are going to be repeated from 200 to 4,000. that can lead to Fragile X syndrome. Similarly, this occurs also in Huntington's disease and Huntington's chorea. Friedreich's ataxia is also because of the trinucleotide repeat disorder, and myotonic dystrophy is also because of trinucleotide repeat disorder. So in all of these disorders, the normal sequence, which is going to be less than 35 in Huntington's chorea, Fragile X may it is less than 55, Friedreich's ataxia it is less than 30, and myotonic dystrophy it is less than 37. But they are repeated so many times in the same chromosome that this leads to inherited disorder, which are because of trinucleotide repeat disorders. Time okay? Okay, students, the time is up. I hope you are going to study this lecture, so I'm going to talk to you tomorrow, and we'll do the rest of the genetic disorder in these next 4 lectures. Okay, thank you.
Last one.